Japan highly favors fresh grads.
Oh,
Yeah, they expect you to come in like a blank slate. Then they put all of their ideologies and their working style on you.
Hi guys, welcome to the episode of Culture Shock. I am Zane.
and I'm Fauzi, and we are from the Little Red Dot, Singapore. Yes.
And today we have some Singaporeans who have studied abroad. So they're going to share with us on like how the difference in terms of like the syllabus there perhaps, or like the course as a student there. So first up we have...
Hi, I'm Mitch and I lived in Australia, specifically Sydney, for 2 years.
Hi, I'm Jerry. I was studying in South Africa, Cape Town, for 3 months.
Hi, I'm Tabitha, or Tabby. I was in Japan in a place called Sendai for 5 years studying.
Hi, I'm Han. Studied in Hong Kong for 3.5 years and then half a year in France as well.
Okay, let's just go into like the studying aspect. Like what is the difference in terms of like the education system like in Singapore versus the country that you were studying in?
I think for my case, because I did arts, so I did animation, and I did feel a big difference studying there and like in Singapore. If I could explain it or describe it, it would be like, for example, in Singapore and they ask you to do assignment. So like they were like, oh okay, so now you have to make an animation. So they want you to build an idea and like a storyline, and then they will kind of guide you on how to polish it. So like they want you to have like a start, climax and ending. So they are more focused on the message you're trying to send.
Okay.
But for in Australia, it's very experimental.
Oh.
So they were like, okay, what do you want to do? And then you give them an idea, and then actually the profs will actually try and like help you build the way there, so you can do it in any way you want. It's more like creative freedom in that sense.
I see.
So your assignment doesn't even have to make sense. Like it doesn't even have to have a story. You can just make an animation about like a speck of dust floating in the air.
My question is, how are you graded for that?
Okay, the thing about art school is like they cannot really fail you lah. They can give you like a C, but as long as you submit something.
I see.
And I think for me, the Australian one worked better for me.
Okay.
Right.
Because I didn't really have a set style of art that I was looking to do. Like some people already know what kind of style they're good at. So all their animations are like this kind, but like different stories.
Right.
But for me, it gave me a lot of freedom to experiment like different kinds of animation. And actually, I took an elective that was just knitting.
How is that related
So
to
in
animation?
Singapore is like home economics.
Oh yeah.
Right?
So you have to take an elective that was like not related.
I
I mean, even in Singapore, you also do that, like a language or
Oh
anything.
yeah, the non-related one. You must study about Singapore, Singapore
Yeah.
society.
Yeah. Then how about maybe in South Africa? Like,
Oh, mine is more like a training school. It's like humanitarian training school.
Yeah.
So
Wait, what?
Yeah.
There's a humanitarian training school?
it's also an international school.
I
The one that I was
see.
at, yeah.
Okay.
So they do a bit of character development also, and also quite similar to social work, where they will have modules to talk about self-awareness. Because actually, for you to be a good social worker, you need to have a bit of self-awareness before you can help others, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So they also talk about that, yeah, which is pretty good for me. And similar to you, they don't fail you lah. Yeah. So, but you must submit something. You must at least submit something.
If you fail a humanitarian class, what
You're
does
not-
that make you?
You're not
Very interesting, but okay.
They have a lot of study life balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the thing about South Africa, their culture is they are a lot more slow paced.
Okay.
And they are people person. So it's like a mini kampong. If you visit their house, right, they all know each other. They are like, oh, I know her name, I know his name, and they know their work schedule and all that. They are just very close.
I see.
Wow.
Yeah, so a people person, and you will very rarely be alone because they will just come and talk to you once you are alone. Yeah, it's just their culture. So you can imagine so less of a structure kind of thing. Not so much like Singapore. Singapore, you give an assignment, right? First question is how many words?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
When's the deadline?
Yes.
Yeah, but South African, they don't do that. They are like, how many words? Just write whatever you want. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that's how different it is. Yeah.
How about Japan though?
The education system is very hardcore. The main aim is to get into a good university.
Okay.
Right, and then each university has their own entrance exams. And so all the way up to high school, the kids will work very hard. And then after school, yes, they have the CCA. And after the CCA, they go to the cram schools in the night. They will start their day from 7 a.m., finish at 10 p.m. day after day after day. So when they get into uni though, that's when they relax.
Okay.
So getting into uni is the hardest step. Once you're inside uni, if you're an undergrad student, you cannot fail. The university will want to like just let you graduate. So that's where all of the students will, just become a lot more chill. And then along with them entering university, a lot of them will also be leaving home to live by themselves to go to the unis.
I see.
Yeah, so the kids that I meet, I call them kids, because I went in for grad studies. So the undergrads to me are like, they're at least 4 years younger.
Right.
So to me, they're kids.
But are they like very good students, like generally, like the Japanese kids?
The ones that came to my university
Yeah.
are cream of the crop.
Whoa.
Because they had to work that hard to make it into that.
Yeah. Right. What
Wow.
university? I'm curious.
Tohoku University.
Oh.
Nobody in Singapore knows it, but in Japan, currently it's ranked number 1.
Wow.
Currently.
Okay, what about you, Han? Both Hong Kong and
And
France. Yeah.
Okay, I guess my contribution to this is quite similar to both of them in the sense that I was studying actually at an American college.
Oh, okay.
So they had outposts in Hong Kong, they had outposts in France.
Nice.
It was also an art school. Yeah. So they use more of a liberal arts American education style. How it is different from Singapore is that in Singapore we tend to be more structured.
Yes.
So a liberal arts education basically is learning is not for exams, it's not for getting a job, it's for embracing knowledge. It's for discovering your passions. We took classes in world mythology, right? We studied like Indian mythology, Roman mythology. It was not directly practical in in the real world, right? but in a sense, it makes you a more, I would say, a person that appreciates culture, So I felt that liberal arts education was much more freeing, and in some way, I feel that I gain a lot, not just in terms of, for example, a career prospect, but I also gain a lot in terms of my appreciation for things that I didn't even look at before. Yeah, so that's what I really appreciate about that educational system.
So one more thing I realized with the Japanese education system is even though they're supposed to be bilingual and that all of them learn English from I think grade 3 onwards, the English level is not great.
I see.
Even at the university level, even these cream of the crop kids, the English isn't great. And another thing that the education system doesn't stress on is like presentation skills or like speaking.
Interesting.
So you have university kids trying to give some sort of presentation on their research, and you can tell it's all copy and pasted from whatever their senpais did.
Oh.
Sounds very Singaporean.
Yeah, is it? I don't know. I felt with my Singaporean education at least, I went at NUS. They stressed a lot on presenting
Yes.
and being able to
Yes.
capture an audience attention, but not in Japan, not at all.
I mean, I studied theatre, so I can't comment on that. My entire presentation is myself. We talk about the nitty-gritty parts about the education system, but now I want to know about how you lived while you were in this school. Were there like canteens in your schools that you went to? I know when I was in NUS, I go to the same place to buy waffle and fruit juice.
Yes.
And I will never forget my time. The deck, waffles and fruit juice. Iconic. But what about you guys?
So basically, my college was quite unique. It was situated in one of the poorest districts in Hong Kong. It's called Sam Shui Po. So in this place, right, usually there's like stories of like the triads and all that. So it's sort of like have some sort of reputation like that.
Right.
It's like Shanghai Town.
Yes.
Okay.
So they basically use an old courthouse which has been converted into a school. So our campus was actually really small. It was just on a tiny hill, right in the middle of this district. So there's a lot of eateries nearby, usually like local Hong Kong cuisine, right? And it's like the traditional type.
Yeah.
So just across the road, you walk a bit, and there's actually this shop selling like snake.
Huh?
Snake?
So what? Snakes.
To eat.
Yes.
Like, how is it cooked though?
Okay. So the main dish there is this thing called snake soup.
Oh.
So basically, the snake is like chopped into pieces, and they put it into this like soup. It's a bit like shark fin kind of texture, Another thing it's also like a aphrodisiac, So in some way, what they do is the live snake, they take it out, kill it on the spot. It has a small heart inside that is still beating.
Yes.
They put some alcohol, they dump the heart in, and you are supposed to just take it as a shot.
Oh dear.
Oh.
It's like a Red Bull. Does it work like Red Bull?
It apparently gives you a lot of energy and vitality.
Try.
No, I don't.
I was going to ask that.
So actually, when you go there, you go into the shop, you can actually see like these cages of live snakes there. And it's very popular with the locals.
I mean,
Yes.
it's like eels.
Oh.
I thought the dancing shrimp in Thailand are really bad.
Wow, it's like Singapore, we go Mr. Softy after school. Go eat snake, what the heck? Wow, scared.
But there wasn't like a canteen or so.
So basically, the city was our canteen.
What about in Japan? I feel like in Japan, the cuisine, right?
Confirm nice.
Yeah.
Right, even like their bullet trains are also like, they have like their bento sets.
Yes.
So is it like also the same for you?
In the campus, there were many different cafeterias.
Okay.
I think the main difference is like in Singapore, in a canteen, right, you have your store selling fishball noodles, your store, your tofu store, your curry rice store, whatnot. There, it's only one store. So you take your tray and you walk down the entire thing, and then you take whatever you want from the refrigerators and stuff. You put it, and then you pay at the end.
I see.
Type of style. So that was a bit strange at first. I was like, where are my various varieties now?
Do everybody eat sushi all the time?
No.
You know what? Honestly, many people think the same question. Got it. What about in like South Africa?
The base that I was at, we have a canteen, like a pantry, kitchen.
Yep.
And the staple food for South Africa, I would say, is couscous.
Oh.
So not so much of rice. Yeah, but I didn't really have a hard time adjusting to the food. It wasn't like too spicy or too salty. I think it was just right. Yeah, their delicacy is sheep's head.
Ah.
Sheep's head.
Okay.
Sheep's, yeah.
So they just
So-
present you a
No. I think the time it was Chinese New Year period lah. So
Okay.
so they wanted to just like celebrate, even though they are not Chinese. But then they
Yeah.
just like, I will give you our best food. Then they got like a sheep's head for us. Then I was like, oh.
Wait, so can you see the actual sheep's head?
The
Yeah, but
eyes
it's
on.
already all cooked. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the skull of the.
Yeah.
What do you eat? Like the meat,
The
or
skin,
fish,
the
or
skin.
like
But the texture just tastes like kway chap. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it just tastes like that. Yeah, but I cannot. I take one mouth, I can reach. And
Right.
they gave you like they gave me the eyeball, so I said, no, it's okay. I feel very loved already. okay,
much
okay.
love.
Yeah. And interestingly, in South Africa, there is no Milo and there is no bubble tea. So they have never seen it before. Yeah, and I let them try the Korean spicy noodle. I love to see their expression because
Is it too spicy?
it's too spicy for them. They're like, oh my god, it's hot. Yeah, but it's funny lah. Like I just bring some local food to just let them try.
How about in Sydney, like the food that you consume in school?
Yeah, I think there's a canteen and like the food is pretty varied because like a lot of international people are there. So there'll be like a Japanese stall or like a Middle Eastern stall that sells like kebab or all these things. There's also like Thai fan dish. So they also sell like rice and like stuff.
Ah.
Yeah.
When it comes to schools, right, I think a large part is about the socializing, right? So was it very difficult for you guys to meet new friends, whether it is with international students or even locals?
Yeah.
For my case, I was in a sort of like a American college, right?
Okay.
So a large proportion of the students were from international, right? Some came from Europe, some from other parts of Asia. There were some local students as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so generally, I think getting along with them was very easy because we all had a common interest, right? So we were studying things related to arts and design. There were, school activities and all that. So through that, we actually get to know each other, and of course, we form our own groups. And eventually, we start friendships from there. So I thought it was a very smooth process. Yeah.
So I went as a grad student, which
Yeah.
is already quite different from what an undergrad would experience because we are already assigned to a lab. So most of our time is spent in the lab doing experiments and stuff, right? So the number of people that I was able to meet was very much confined to that. Maybe the lab, maybe the building. So yeah, and grad students don't really have a life. So by and large, I think the friends I made were mostly internationals,
Right.
people who went without Japanese, like prior knowledge of Japanese, and they needed help, and that's where for some reason I would get to know them, and I'll be like, okay, you know what? I'll help you go to the ward office to do this and this procedure and to do that.
What about in South Africa?
Jerry.
I think my class 50% are South Africans.
Okay.
Then the other 50% are international. So we have Dutchies, Germans. There were 2 Singaporeans. We have 1 Egyptian and 1 person from America.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty diverse. So because South Africans, right, they are very people person. So they actually includes you for almost every gathering. Yeah. So and every night they gather and they can talk until damn late, like really like 11, 12 a.m. I will usually be the one to say, okay, I need to sleep. Yeah. And one interesting fact about South Africans is if they like you, they like to roast you. So for me, I adapted very well because I do that sometimes. Most of the time, okay. Yeah, but then if you are a Japanese, for example, or if you're more reserved, you might get a shock. You're like, why do you do that? Yeah. But actually, that's how they show affection. Yeah.
Got example? Got example?
There was this period I stayed in a slum with my African friend, and then I wanted to cut onions. I wanted to cook something for the family. So when I got the onion, right, I cannot find the knife. So I was asking him, do you have a knife? Not do you have a knife, sorry. Where do you put the knife? And then he said that we cannot afford a knife, so we usually just bite the onion. Okay, you see, you immediately got it that it's a joke, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't, because I was like, okay, so how do you do it? Yeah, so they like to make this kind of self-deprecating humor.
Yeah, okay.
It's also their way to
That's
cope, but they think it's funny. Yeah, so after that, they also like to roast other Singaporeans. So there was once, I have another Singaporean friend, right? So he looked at him using his phone and purposely asked him, what is that? But actually, he knows what is that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I get it.
so you get that kind of
Yeah.
humor. Well, it's only when they are comfortable with you.
I see.
Okay, Mitch, how was making friends in Sydney with the international students?
Yeah, so there was a good mix of like people from everywhere as well.
Yeah.
But I think personally for me, I had quite a hard time adjusting because I'm very introverted.
Right.
So I don't like really talk to my classmates if I don't have to. But of course we do have like group work and then I have to like talk to them lah. But in general, the people there are very friendly. So it took a lot of adjusting. So if someone asks you like, how are you? Like they expect an answer, no?
Yeah.
If you say like, fine, thank you, then they wait. They actually are interested in what you are going to say.
That's good.
So then I have to like carry the conversation. Then I'm like, is it ending? But they're just very extroverted.
Right.
Like even on public transport, right? Every time you say thank you to the driver, it's a thing.
Or like the bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I came to Singapore, the first few times I'm like thank you, then I. So it also hard for me lah. But maybe if you're more extroverted, I think it'd be a lot more fun.
Wow, okay.
Wow. So that is like, say perhaps, say in school, right? So what do you guys do after school with your friends?
On my side, there's a lot of surfing. So they really enjoy surfing. Because we stay literally 3 minutes walk from the beach.
Nice.
Yeah, and the waves are like perfect. Yeah, so we surf a lot. For those that don't know how to surf, they will go for classes. It's also very cheap. Yeah, the surfing board and everything. So that's kind of their after school activity. And if we were to do assignment and to study, we'll go to Starbucks.
Oh,
Favorite
same.
place.
Even though they say that Starbucks not real coffee.
Oh no, those are the international students. But the South Africans, they will never go to Starbucks.
So where would they go?
They will go to other cafes. Yeah,
like actual-
that they know is good. Yeah. Then they will tell us to stop going Starbucks. But we still go nonetheless. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Do you learn how to surf?
No, I learn how to serve people. But I can't swim, so.
Me also. I can't swim either.
Oh no, I feel like everything I'm gonna say is super boring.
Oh no! You don't learn how to surf.
So in Japan, because once the students hit uni and they are relaxing and all, and don't have to worry about the studies anymore, nobody studies. Nobody studies. So this idea of going somewhere to study together, no, it's not a thing. After classes for the undergrads, then they will go for their extracurricular activities.
Okay.
Which all of them are probably in one or
Right.
two. Yeah, but for the grad students, we're in lab till late.
Yeah. Same. Hey.
But no, you're like helping the future.
Generation,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
Hong Kong is actually known as a night city. So you know that there's this image of Hong Kong, you know, all the neon lights,
Yes.
alleyways. So things there actually close quite late. So it's opposite from Australia.
Yeah.
So over there, you know, there's restaurants that you can get food, supper at 3-4 a.m.
Wow.
So there's also quite a strong party culture there.
Nice.
So there's this very famous street called Lan Kwai Fong in Hong Kong. So you know, me and my classmates sometimes, if it's a weekend and there's no class, we would go there, you know, to party the night away. You know, so we probably do like some pre-drinking at the 7-Eleven, get like really cheap cans of beer. Yeah. So other than that, I think there's also a very good music culture there.
Okay.
So sometimes we go for underground gigs.
Oh.
For example, one of my best memory is that we actually we were planning to go somewhere else, but we inadvertently discovered that there was an underground gig going on
Okay.
because we heard some music as we were walking by this abandoned industrial site.
Oh my.
We went into this big like industrial lift, right? And then we just went up one floor. And then when it opened, right, wow, it was like packed with people, and there was like some like metal gigs playing and all that.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the last thing we like to do was there is like poetry clubs in Hong Kong. So we would go to some of the bars. So it's a different bar every week. You meet up with different people who write their own poetry. They will stand up on stage and they will read whatever poetry they have.
Like open mic.
Open mic, yes.
Like slam poetry.
Yeah, slam poetry.
And in Cantonese.
In English and Cantonese, in a variety of language. It's a very international community there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Very artsy.
It is.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part about Hong Kong.
Same,
actually,
I only know Hong Kong Disneyland.
That's funny.
Bitch,
Yeah,
5 p.m. Go home.
So the shops close really early. So if you hang out with your friends, like picnic is a thing.
Oh.
Because the weather is great. So like
Yes.
any like park, it's a thing where you hang out with your friends. Or you have like barbecue at your friend's place.
Right.
Okay, so this is the thing I found out that like Barbies in Australia.
Yeah.
Then you get so excited, right? You're like, oh my god, I'm gonna eat like these, right? Because in Singapore you buy so many things, you know?
Yeah.
Like veggies, meat, seafood, satay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then when you go to the Barbie party, it's just sausage.
Oh.
Sausage and white bread. What?
Sorry.
Oh.
White bread.
Yeah. So you just give the sausage and like onions, then you just put on the white bread.
Oh.
Then no chili also.
Ah.
So that is their barbecue.
Yeah, so their Barbie is really just
So
Sausage.
when did they say they put the shrimp on the Barbie? No shrimp?
not at my party. It wasn't very like food focused. You know?
I
Because like we are very like focused on the food, like what do you want to
Yeah,
eat? Everyone wants to
yes.
eat something, but there is like more hanging out. Like you're just
Right.
chilling. Like the food isn't that important.
Right.
So it's quite fun.
I would love to experience each and every one. Maybe except Japan. I don't want to stay in the lab until 10 late night.
Alright, so that's all that we have today. I think we learned quite a couple of interesting things about being a student
Correct.
abroad. So if you like this video, please remember to like, share, subscribe.
Ring the notification bell and watch our other videos over there.
Bye!